Good day, dear creatives. Welcome to another tutorial with Turban. If you are new to my channel, I welcome you to this channel, and if you are an old subscriber, thank you for coming back again. Do well to subscribe to this button if you are a new subscriber. So today we are going to be making this beautiful ruffled body turban, which is very beautiful. I'll be making use of the following fabrics: a thick crepe, is stretchy. I'm making use of bias, pins to pin down my fabric, tape measure, my tailor's chalk, my tape rule, and my scissors. So let's get started, guys. So now to start with, I have two pieces of fabric cut out already. The smaller fabric which you see on top is the band part. Remember, the body of a cap is divided into the band and the base. Now for the band, you cut out your head circumference, which is 23 inches. My head circumference is 23 inches. I'm going to cut out 23 inches from this by 4.5 inches long or wide. So I'm going to keep that aside. Now to the main base of the cap. So here I have 31 inches wide, which is the head circumference part. 31 inches is the head circumference part. Can you see stretchy? That way, make sure you cut it along the stretchy part. Then the length of my cap is 45 inches. Now you can have from 40, 45 and above. Depends on how long you want it to be or how full you want the body of your ruffles to be. So here I have 45 inches long and 31 inches wide. And know that 31 inches is not limited. You can have 35 inches, you can have 30 inches, you can have 32, 33, depends on what you want to use. So now let's get started to the main business. So firstly, I'm going to mark ½ inch away from the edge, which I'm going to be using to join to my band. Then I'm going to measure another ½ inch, which is where my design is starting from. Now I have two ½ inch. The first one is going to be joined to the band, while the second one is the one that I'm going to start my design from. And please mind you are marking on the right side of your fabric. Do not mark on the wrong side. Then after the first ½ inch, the second ½ inch, I measured 2.5 inches, ½ inch like that. Then I have another ½ inch. Then from the other ½ inch I have 2.5. Then I have ½ inch. Then I'm going to have 2.5 again. Then I'm going to have ½ inch, 2.5 again. So you are going to be doing that till you get to the end of your fabric. ½ inch for the first joining, ½ inch to start your cap, 2.5, ½ inch, 2.5, ½ inch. So I joined the lines together at the left spindle and side. I joined it together from the beginning to the end of my fabric, just the way you see it. So now we are going to skip the first 0.5, which we are going to be joining to the band, and we are going to focus on the place where I started the full marked from. See, the first one was not fully marked, just at the center, but I started from where it was fully marked. So I'm going to take the ½ inch and 2.5, then pin down. I'm going to pin down like that. I'm going to take the second ½ inch again, then 2.5. I'm going to pin down like that. So I'm going to pin it till I get to the end, and after pinning I'm going to sew. You can just pin one and sew, pin the other and sew, instead of pinning the whole lines down. So I'm just trying to illustrate that again. I picked the first 0.5 and the 2.5, I pinned, then the second one I pinned down, then I'm going to sew. I'm going to make sure I pin it to the end of the fabric, like I mean to the sideways. I'm going to sew it just like that. So I'm going to show us the sewn work. So here it is, all sewn. I did not sew it to the end because I was satisfied with the amount of pleats I have. I didn't want it to be too much. Now you can pleat yours to the end, it depends on what you want. And you can also increase your reels by ½ inch. Instead of 2.5, you can have 3 inches. So yeah, I got my band and I'm going to notch that. I folded it into two, then notch it. Then also I'm going to be notching the main base of the cap. So just fold it into two, then notch. So the next thing we are going to do is to join the band and the base together now. So I'm just going to pin that down, making sure the notch aligned with each other. That is why we notched the cap. I'm going to take it to my machine to stitch it on a straight sewing. So now I have my band separated from the body. The band is the one lying down. Can you see it is not aligned with the body of the cap, because the body of the cap is 31 inches. It is not aligned with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to get my bias tip. Then I'm going to measure 24 inches. We can measure 23 inches if you want it to be more gathered. You can measure 23, you can measure 25 if you want less gathers. But the minimum is 24. Like the actual one you can measure if you just want a minimum ruffles is 24. But if you want more ruffles, you can measure 22 or 23. So I'm just going to pass it all through one after the other. The hole which I have there. So as I'm going to be using my safety pin, I'll be making sure when it gets to the edge, it doesn't enter the hole finish, so I won't start all over again. So now that is it. I'm going to take my office pin to pin it down just that way. Then I'm going to keep pushing the safety pin. Then I'm also going to pull that, then I'll pin that down. So I'll cut another 24 inches of bias, cut another 24 inches. I'm going to do that till I get to the end of the ring which we have sewn. So yeah, here is the work. I've sewn it, I've pinned it down, and I've also stitched the sides together. So the next is for us to turn it so we can get a finished cap. Then stitch it 0.5 away from the edge, then stitch it this way, then down, then you curve it a bit to the other end. Now I'm not going to do mine to the end, I'm just going to minus some fabrics away and stitch at the middle. You can do yours, you can sew yours to the end like that. So I'm just going to stitch the way I analyzed there. Then also make sure you weave your work to be neat, so you don't have fraying edges. So you are going to take your needle and thread to start gathering from the side I gathered from to the other end. So I'm going to gather it to the other end. Then I'm going to do it back like overlocking stitch. I'm going to lock it back again by taking my needle and thread again backwards after getting to the edge. You pull, then you take your needle and thread backwards again. Make sure you pull properly. So now here is the finished work, and here is the back of my cap. Here is the front, the back, the center. So you can add embellishment if you wish, or you can just leave it plain the way it is. So any which way is your choice. So thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. So follow us on our Facebook page at Turban's Edu Academy, and also if you have any information you want to know, further information, message us on this number showing on your screen. Thank you and God bless.